Wait a minute. Are you telling me that Ubers are illegal in Costa Rica? What's up, everyone? This is Christian Duke. You're watching Sight Sounds Flavors on YouTube, sightsoundsflavors.com. So I recently went to Costa Rica. And when I landed, the very first thing I asked was, well, where are the Ubers? Where are the Lyfts? Where are the rideshares? And I was told by a cab driver that Ubers are illegal in Costa Rica. Now, I thought, cab drivers have a vested interest. Cab drivers are more expensive in the States. Cab driver might be full of it. So what did I do? I went to rental car company and asked rental company, are Ubers illegal? And they both said they were. Now they both said they were with cab driver over my shoulder listening. But even still, cab driver, Enterprise, Alamo, Hertz, whatever, they don't work together. One's a rental car, one's a taxi. They shouldn't have any collusion, right? Well, I don't know. So they said, yeah, sure enough. And then I went to a police officer. Now the plot thickens because maybe there's some kind of connection between taxi driver and rental car company. Maybe taxi driver brings people to rental car company. Maybe taxi driver uses rental cars. But surely the police, right? They're going to tell me the truth. Now, there's a lot of police in Costa Rica. There's municipal police, and I'll be doing a video about the police because I love the police. I was so impressed with the police. There's municipal, there's public force, there's judicial, there's immigration, there's police everywhere, and cameras too. But so I go to the police. There's these two police officers outside, and police in Costa Rica, they take pride in their uniform. They take pride in their posture. They're very, very well trained. They're very good with the public. So I'm already very impressed. And they say Ubers are illegal in Costa Rica. And they go on to say that Ubers can be stopped. And what will happen is passengers don't get arrested or anything like that, but the Uber gets pulled over and the police will take the license plates off the Uber car, right? And then making the car not legal to be driven. So, as a passenger, you don't get arrested, but if that happens, effectively your ride is over. Good luck getting your money back, but more importantly, you might be in the middle of nowhere trying to either find another Uber or get a cab or whatever. Not a good look. So what did I do? I went ahead and I took a cab. Now, I did not have a hotel reservation. This is something that you must have. I did not know this, but in Costa Rica, they will not allow you to enter the country unless you have a hotel reservation that you can show customs. They let me in because they like me and because I said, listen, I'll get the hotel reservation right then and there. It's not a problem. But I didn't want to, I wanted to kind of explore a little bit first. And I got lucky. The officer was super nice and he's like, look, I know you're going to stay. Plus, on top of that, I had a follow-up trip to Chile in 4 days. So my time in Costa Rica was it was only going to be 4 or 5 days. So I got lucky and he just let me enter. But the thing is, though, the taxi driver suggested a bunch of different hotels. And, at that point, we're driving along in the taxi, and this is for another video, but I went ahead and got my own room through Priceline. And I asked him about a couple of them, but, he wanted to take me to a couple. That's the other thing. Cab drivers are notorious in any country, including right here in the United States. They've got deals with hotels, and they'll sell you pie in the sky if it means them getting a kickback. Meanwhile, they might be taking you to a Roach Motel, and so, you gotta definitely be careful with that. I don't have, an issue. I'm not anti-cab driver, but he did tell me at the airport, I said, how much would it cost to get me from the airport to downtown San Jose? Because I went to San Jose. A lot of people said I should have gone to Jaco or I should have gone to Punta Arenas or I should have gone to Limon. I wanted to go to the capital. I'm a history buff. I wanted to go to the capital. I went to the capital. I have no regrets. It's a little dirty. It's not touristy. There aren't any beaches, but there's a lot of history and I loved it. And I'm going to go back to San Jose. But again, that's for another video. So he said $40, around $40. It ended up being 35. And I was like, wow, that's pretty steep because that's kind of like what I pay from my house to the airport here in Louisville, Kentucky. So I would think, Costa Rica would be a lot cheaper. But I didn't say any of that. I didn't want to haggle with the guy, especially because cab driver, rental car people, and police all told me that rideshare was illegal in Costa Rica. So I kind of felt like I didn't really have any other option but taxi drivers. So What am I going to do? Haggle over $5 or $10? No. So anyways, cab driver takes me. I decided on staying at the Sleep Inn, Paseo de las Damas. It was a 2.5 star, should have been a 3.5 star. It was a great hotel, you know, free breakfast, amazingly comfortable king-size bed, very secure. But anyways, so he takes me there, and sure enough, it's in Parque Morazan. It's like you couldn't ask for a better location. It was like $37 or something like that. I just gave him $40. Now, mind you, for like the next 2 or 3 days, I get to the hotel, and I ask him at the hotel, I say, are Ubers illegal here? Well, they're not illegal, but we don't really recommend them. We prefer you use our airport shuttle, which wasn't actually an airport shuttle. You actually had to, they had a shuttle, but like it was like you had to pay for it. It wasn't like included or whatever. And it was about the same price as a taxi. Then the second day I was there, I saw folks getting dropped off by an Uber. I was like, wow, there's Uber here. And then I used the Uber app, and I went to a couple places in the city, and it was dirt cheap. And I asked the Uber drivers, I said, is it true that you guys are illegal? Because like the app seems to work. And unless I'm mistaken, Uber's not going to run an app if it's illegal. Because, you know, Uber makes a lot of money, primarily in Europe and the United States. And they're not going to run, I didn't say this to the Uber driver. I'm not trying to imply that Costa Rica is like a non-factor. But in the grand scheme of things, it's a non-factor when you compare what Uber makes in the United States and Canada and Western Europe and Japan and Southeastern Asia. They make a lot of money. They're not going to sacrifice at all just to like kind of like go under the radar in one country. Nothing against Costa Rica, but for one country, they're not going to sacrifice earnings in 40 countries, okay? And they said, no, it's fine. You know, we use it all the time. And in fact, I took the Uber from the hotel to the airport when I left Costa Rica to go to Chile, and I think it was like $10. And I tipped very, very well. Very well. So it was basically like a third of the cost. And I had to wait all of, get this, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. When I was going to go to the airport, and granted, now this is stupid. This was stupid. I made a video like 2 days before I left the airport to, 2 days before I left the hotel for the airport, I made a video downtown San Jose talking about how crazy traffic was. And there you get 30 seconds for cars to go and 30 seconds for pedestrians to cross, right? Well, pedestrians, after about 10 seconds, they're ready to lunge into traffic. They cannot wait 30 seconds. San Jose, like any major city, people are on the go. They don't have time to stand around for 30 seconds. And the same thing with cars too. Some cars, they don't want to wait the 30 seconds. If they see a clearing and there's no people, they're going to gun it. And the motorcycles are the worst. Anyways, now 2 days after I made the video about how crazy traffic was, my flight left at 8:48 in the morning, and it was 7 a.m. and I was eating my breakfast, and then I decided to call the Uber. How stupid is that? I had planned on, I woke up like 5 in the morning, but somehow, whatever, just like milling around the hotel, packing my bag, taking an extra long shower, eating my breakfast. It's 7 a.m. and I still am not in the Uber. So 7 a.m. I call the Uber, 7:02 I'm in the Uber. And let me tell you something. If you're staying in downtown San Jose, there's about 3 kilometers where it's like bumper to bumper traffic, crazy traffic, and it's not moving. But even still, my Uber driver, he said, listen, you got nothing to worry about. I told him my flight left at 8:30 just to buy myself a little bit of time. I didn't want to say 8:48, right down to the minute. He got me to the airport at 7:42. He got me there in 40 minutes. It's a 15-kilometer trip from the Sleep Inn, Paseo de las Damas, to the airport. But it's for those 15 kilometers, 4 of which are hell on earth. I mean, we're talking bumper to bumper, where, like you got buses are the worst. Buses do not give a crap if it's a green light or a red light. They're a bus. And the Uber that I was in was like a Geo Metro. Unless you get the bigger Ubers, you're probably going to get one of those like 3-cylinder tiny cars. But you know what? Those 3-cylinder tiny cars are perfect for getting in and out of traffic and moving it along. So, he got me there. I think it was like 8,000 colones, which is like $16. And I tipped him I think I gave him like $10. And then on top of $10 cash, colones. And then on top of that, I gave him money as a tip on the Uber app as well. So he got tips from both ends. and I was so happy. But it's pretty crazy though. It's pretty crazy because the cab drivers will lie to your face, and there's nobody in the airport that's going to tell you different. They will all lie to you. The cab driver lied, the car rental people lied, and the cops lied. And even the people at the hotel kind of half lied a little bit too. I don't know if Ubers are illegal, but I don't think they are. The app works fine. Never had a problem. I took about 4 or 5 Ubers in Costa Rica. Never had a problem. Never had to wait more than 2 minutes. The cars, although small, were always immaculate. The drivers, you could ask them questions. And I always tip when I do rideshare. Always, always, always tip. And they appreciate it. And listen, I'm just here to tell you, from Sight Sounds Flavors on YouTube, Sight Sounds Flavors on TikTok, and sightsoundsflavors.com. If you go to Costa Rica, cab drivers tell you Uber's illegal in one ear, out the other. I took rideshare. I had no problem. If I had to let me tell you this one last thing. If I had called a cab, or I had called that hotel shuttle, which by the way did not work on Wednesday. I don't know why. I flew out on Wednesday. Wednesday to me is a Monday to Friday day. It's not a Saturday, it's not a Sunday. Why the sleep-in shuttle doesn't work on Wednesdays is because they told me that the driver doesn't like to work on Wednesday. Well, maybe they need to get a better driver or another driver, because Wednesday to me is a day you don't want to miss for an airport shuttle from a hotel in downtown San Jose. But I digress. I love to sleep in. That was my only one little caveat, my one little pet peeve that they didn't, I didn't really understand. But if I had called that shuttle on a Tuesday, a Wednesday, no, not Wednesday, a Tuesday, a Thursday, a Friday, or a Monday, I would have had to call it in advance. They would not have been able to pick me up in 2 minutes. If I would have called one of the red cabs, they wouldn't have been able to get me in 2 minutes. But Uber got me in 2 minutes. And when I put the app in, there was like 8 cars here, 10 cars there, 5 cars there. It was like a smorgasbord of cars. So that was great. So again, I'm here to tell you, Uber in Costa Rica, no problemo. I would recommend it. In fact, I was able to get to my flight in 42 minutes because I used Uber. So again, don't think the cops are going to tell you different, or the rental car people, or the food cart person, and definitely not the cab driver. They'll tell you Uber's unsafe, it's illegal, and it's unreliable. And they're all lies.